With the alarm.
Welcome, everyone, to our first episode of Hunting for Suspenders and Stilettos.
The podcast where we will be exploring the edges of leadership.
In other words, we talk about, well, all things around the edges of leadership, such as the fact that leadership is not just a role, it's a way of being. So I'm here in Cambridge, sat in my home office. How about the rest of you?
I'm Sarah, calling in from Toronto, Canada.
To stay in Canada, I'm Huda, calling also from Toronto.
And I'm Anne, calling from Amsterdam.
And all right, for our inaugural episode conversation today, our topic is intake.
Intake.
So first of all, folks, why did we, because we chatted for a while about what would our first topic be, and then we landed on this one word as the theme for today. So what is it about the word intake that felt important to you all about this?
Well, Anne, you had something great to say about that, and so without just dropping you in it, I'll lead in, and you can add to it. But you know, we're all coaches, we're all executive leadership coaches, and we understand the importance of intake, like grounding ourselves with our clients in what it is we're doing here, you know, why we're here.
Yeah,
great. I like that you're starting with a bit of a definition. What does intake mean to you?
Yeah, and for me, especially the way we decided to bring this to life, you know, is to have this meta view of, oh, this is like a coaching program. So like, okay, what does it feel to be like in an intake, you know? And so, yeah, so that would be, why do you come to see a coach as an individual or as a team, you know? And then we are here as coaches to listen. So here today, we want to explore a little bit of that as well for us as a group.
I love this word explore, because in coaching or in anything we do, there is a part of that exploration, right? Exploration, who is the person we are talking to, the exploration of what is an issue or concern or anything. But that curiosity, that initial spark of interest, this is really what we are trying to explore today.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And so what's coming up for me when you say that is when you're starting something new, to abandon assumptions and to start fresh with a whole lot of questions and curiosity about the purpose of why we're together.
Yeah.
Sarah.
And we're exploring it as we go. Like one of the reasons one of the whys here was to sort of model jumping into something without being 100% ready, and actually kind of peel back the curtain and show like the inner workings of like what's it like to develop something like this. And so we're kind of, while we're also hopefully giving you an idea of what we're here to offer you, we're also figuring out a little bit for ourselves.
Yeah.
What's it like to not be 100% ready? I love that.
Yeah, or even 50%. I don't know where you'd put the number. Maybe we're 70.
And that 50% of unreadiness, for you, John, what it gives space to what?
So this gets a little into a bit why I'm here. You know, it's interesting. Like I was thinking about this before. I wonder how I'll feel, and I thought it's going to be uncomfortable, and I'm going to probably feel a bit anxious about doing this. It's something new. Brené Brown has this expression, FFT. Have any of you heard of it? FFT. Fucking first time.
Oh.
so like, it's an edge. Like we're talking about edges of leadership. This is an edge for me of doing something that is more vulnerable. It's more exposing. But I know that that's where the growth is. So like, I'm here for the growth that comes from doing something uncomfortable, that is that is aligned with what I want to do and how I can support clients in the future and feel like I'm still growing. And again, I hope like we can model. So that's a bit of the why for me, but for people watching and for maybe what we're all doing here is modeling that as well. Going like, yeah, sometimes like the best things come when you do the uncomfortable thing. So yeah. Thanks for the question, Huda. How about you?
Well, there is that 50% for me is leaning in that discomfort, and like really it's a big step for me to be speaking here live. 2, it's also that to capture that spontaneity that is the attribute of all of
and spontaneity.
Really, sometimes it's just leaning into what is present.
Yeah.
And can you hear me?
Yeah, there's just a slight pause.
We lost a couple sentences.
Yeah, I think I'm having a bad connection today. It's raining in Toronto. And really leaning into what is present, right? What is it that becomes important at that very moment. And very often we bury it under preparation and we forget to connect who we are.
Yeah, for me, I think going live is a very different thing than, for example, being on stage. Because in a way, being on stage, like doing improv, like there is a structure to a certain extent, and we do have like a slight structure here, but it's also just knowing what's going to, like not knowing what's going to happen, like you mentioned, and having this little thing thinking, is this going to be of value?
Yeah, and also, I mean, it's interesting that you're saying this because one of your areas of comfort, Anne, for those who aren't familiar with Anne, is being on the stage. And Anne has even done singing improv, and that feels comfortable for you.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Whereas this, like just a few minutes before, I started to feel like, oh my God, like my heart was pumping. Actually, I was looking for the thrill, and it was good, and I love the way I know how to get out of it. So like putting some music on, like doing silly things, and then like I'm back to myself. So I guess it's about to pinpoint what you were saying, Huda. It's about being vulnerable as well, and showing vulnerability. Because I think to me, the most important for teams and for individuals to be able to connect to themselves and to others, which is my own why, it is to one of the first qualities to be vulnerable and open to say, oh yeah, I feel a little bit of anxiety here, or actually assume that to be fully confident. That's also fine. And yeah,
what makes that possible for me anyway is the fact that I've got just complete deep trust in all of the three of you. So the ability to come on and talk about the fact that it's edgy and uncomfortable and there's anxiety, I know that that's okay because of who you three are. So it's just such a fundamental thing, I think, in building building teams, leadership, in building connection is that trust.
Yeah, and I want to build on what you're saying because I love everything that you've all shared around the why of creating this new podcast adventure together, around the growth and the spontaneity, and I'm +1 for all of those. And then another one that I feel, and I know you all do too, is the excitement of doing something together, because we met doing a leadership program many moons. I guess we began our meeting 4 years ago. I might have the date wrong, but a bunch of years ago. and we've worked together in different capacities. And then here we are. Well, Hoot is in Toronto, but soon we'll be leaving. So we're all in these different parts of the world. And how can we keep building something and co-creating something together was really a question that sparked where we are in this moment. And of course, that's still unfolding. But that's really exciting to me, to experience co-creation together.
Yeah. And the way, sorry, John.
No, you go.
The way we have created just a little video and the the first slide, the yellow slide with our, that was super fun.
Just and the right shade of yellow.
The right shade of yellow. I still need the code, by the way, John. but like really it was really open and with no, you can't do this, or like it was really about the flow and asking for what we want and being open to receive. That I really appreciated that.
But it's impressive that we are all celebrating this. Shall we call it container? Although it's a coachy word, it's okay. But this space that we created and those connections, right? Connections of trust, of contracting each other, of agreeing, disagreeing, all this at the service of something that we wanted to do together, so something bigger, but also just really honoring the connection between us.
Yeah.
Very grateful, guys.
Yeah, there's something I want to say there, that we've come together and agreed to do this, and none of us really know where it's going. We've just decided that together we wanted to do something, we wanted to create something, we wanted to do something that was pushing our comfort zones. We wanted it to be, it's not just about us, it's very much about you watching and consuming this and being of service to you. But we don't know where it's going. We have no, but it's just a good lesson that we very often don't know where things are taking us, but if we follow the things that are, well, for me, you can speak for yourselves, but for me, it's like, I've got a general direction. This feels roughly aligned with it. It feels exciting. It feels edgy. It's the right people to do it with. So I just trust that that's going to take me somewhere. And sometime later, I'll join the dots back and see if it did or not. But, that's kind of how things work out. It's very hard to, the best things are very hard to plan forward.
Yeah.
So true. And it reminds me of the expression to take the next right step. Mm-hmm. Instead of trying to see 100, 1,000 steps ahead, just to take the one next step, recalibrate, see what's there, and then the one after that, and then the one after that. Yeah. I love that, John.
And there is something that thread that we kept pulling on to agree on the name and on the subtitle, really to bring everything. And it's really all our personalities. So hunting for suspenders and stilettos, it's really humorous.
I'm going to tell you.
Well, I'm going to let you do it, John, I think.
Everyone's probably very intrigued.
Yeah, it's true. So
maybe not,
but we did all agree it was about leadership, and then I'm always triggered by the word leadership. So we agreed that we will be on the edges of leadership. So I think it felt like we just widened all of us the scope of what we wanted to do, and it's wonderful to see how when we agree to disagree and disagree to agree, that we can just really open up the way we look at things.
Yeah.
And we're talking also about, what's the, going back to the intake piece, of a coaching program, and what's the objective of, so to me, it's really about learning. Learning together, having comfortable conversation.
So what are you excited to learn about in our conversations?
I think I'm excited to learn about. I know every one of us have specific ways of seeing things, so I'm interested in, like, to hear about it. And I'm also like, I like to be able to also put my voice out, because I know you will support me to put my voice out and bring those sometimes crazy ideas out there. So that's also the learning how to, like, bring more of my voice out there as well. We had a comment I've seen from
Costa.
Our good friend Costa.
And where? Oh yeah, I can see the comment now.
He's curious about the name of
He's poking us a bit because he knows exactly what's behind it.
Don't you know what is an intake, Costa?
I think he was curious about suspenders and stilettos. Do you guys think it's time that we?
Yes, probably we. Especially Costa must know.
Yeah.
Because he was.
And yeah, he was here. He was there, and in many ways, he kind of should be in this as well. And Costa, yeah, we'll have to get you on as a guest, I think.
Yes,
because you were
your first guest.
Yeah, sorry, Anne interrupted you, but yeah, just want to say that.
I think we can more to come on the name reveal, but themes are around. We all have sort of different ideas of what it means to us, but broad themes are around searching for meaning, scavenger hunts, fun and adventure, and making something out of nothing.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Feel free to add in. Team.
No, I think we should keep a little bit of intrigue there.
Yeah.
People might hate it.
Friendship and laughter.
Friendship
and disagreeing and agreeing.
Yeah. Recovery. Failing and recovering and failing and recovering.
So we started our session today, introducing the series and then defining this topic of intake. And what I wanted to do is summarize what I've heard so far, and you can tell me what I missed and anything else you wanted to add in before we wrap up. How does that sound? Okay. Yeah? Okay, I'm seeing thumbs up. So I'm hearing that for us, intake is important because we're all coaches. We coach individuals and we coach teams, and we always start our new coaching relationships in a moment of exploration. We call that intake, where we're getting to know what the purpose and we're just exploring what's important about the relationship and getting really curious about it. So this idea of, for us on this project, it's exploring, it's growth, it's co-creation, and it's really talking about leadership, I'm putting in quotation, what it means for all of us, what we're experiencing in our own professional and personal lives. We're going to come together and explore those topics in this forum.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did I miss in that?
Maybe something about like the impact for people watching. Like I hope people can see leadership in a much broader context than what we traditionally think of as leadership. We think of a leader. If someone says leadership, we think of the CEO, or we think of that leader in front, and no doubt we'll use that terminology. But we think of that, and I hope that people see that it's a much broader subject than that.
Democratizing, or I don't know if it's like vulgarization. I don't know if I'm speaking French now, but like of the leadership concept. Yeah.
So expanding definitions of like what leadership means.
Yeah.
And also challenging certain concepts. If not all ideas, there are some key ideas, if you want, key concepts. But that doesn't mean we cannot challenge them and bring our, our own colors and the meanings and way of doing things to them.
Yeah, you're all going to see that's Huda's role here. She's bringing the challenge, and we love it.
Will.
Yeah.
She will. So I think that's wrapping up our first live.
Yes.
Before we sign off, a few words on what's coming up. We'll be sharing more details on LinkedIn, but we are planning on meeting monthly and really going through a whole journey together, where every time we meet, we dive into a different topic. So we're beginning with intake, but that's just the start of our co-creation journey. So we hope you'll join us.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks,
See you next
everyone.
time.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.